The third time is certainly a charm for the Charleston Battery and Memphis 901ers. We finally get set for tonight's USL Championship match at MUSC Health Stadium, and now a makeup game that has so much on the line in the final week of the regular season as both teams look to keep their playoff hope alive. Hey everyone, we welcome you up to the broadcast booth. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. And Derek, the teams have prepared for this match 3 times now, but there's been one player in particular as of late we want to keep our eye on, a late addition to the side, and that's the MLS loanee, Marcus Epps.
Yeah, Epps has joined them recently, isn't he? And he started to score some goals. He's joined them at a crucial time of the season, and I think he's going to be a big impact player. And if they can get to the playoffs, he'll be a real big threat going forward. So the Battery are going to have to be at their best tonight to keep him at bay.
He has 4 goals, 4 assists on the season, a real playmaker in the middle of the park. I want to watch Marcus Epps. Well, for Mike Anhauser's side, the player that we want to keep our eye on, who's coming in off a fantastic goal, it's Arthur Boschua.
Yeah, he was a big threat, wasn't he? Man of the match this past weekend, and he's really grown into his role in this team. He's a big, strong lad, very good now, and now he's getting goals regularly. He's going to be a real threat going into this playoff spot.
He got the start up top with the youngster Midfield Daly, a fantastic pairing. Let's see what they can do tonight. Talking of Arthur Boschua, let's catch up with him and get his thoughts on this evening's match.
The goal was good. It was good to get the early goal, and then from there it would have been nice to get another one. I think that would have helped us settle in a little bit more, but now it's about responding and trying to get the win for the fans. Yeah, I think it's just a combination of certain guys stepping up at the right time, and I think we've dealt with pressure well so far, but I think it's sort of going to need to be a collective effort from every single guy on the field, off the field, and the coaching staff.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. It is a pretty picture-perfect night here in Charleston, South Carolina. The teams are out just about ready to go, but first let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll start with the visitors, Derek. For Tim Mulqueen's side, just 4 changes from the team that fell to Charlotte Independence, one of them being Levine in goal, Najam in the middle. We mentioned Epps in the pre-game. Who else there stands out to you?
Again, Collier, they need goals, don't they, tonight? So, Collier and Kunga, they're both going to really have to be on their mettle today. And Doyle's a big player for them, isn't he? He's a big centre-half that always puts his presence onto the game. So, yeah, it's a very strong lineup, and I think it'll be a very competitive game for them.
Liam Doyle, of course, coming across from Nashville SC mid-season, a key piece to some of their August signings. Let's take a look at Mike Anhauser starting 11. Again, Daly and Boschua get the start up top. Kuzminski in goal, and Patterson, Nelson make their way into the back line.
Yeah, I think the key one for me here is Zico Lewis. I've always said it, he's a very good creative player. You know, Higashi again, he's got to start back in the starting lineup, and he's very adventurous. And I think it shows the intensity and the intention tonight that they're going to have to go really attack this Memphis team and try and get goals, because they definitely need to win and put themselves in a strong position for that playoff spot.
Well, for both teams, the playoffs hang in just a balance. For the Charleston Battery, the route is a lot easier if they can pick up 3 points here tonight. For Memphis 901, even if they can get 6 points from their next 2 matches, they'll need other results to go in their favour. There's Mike Anhauser's boys in black and yellow, and they'll be ready for the occasion tonight, especially after that tough loss on Saturday.
No, I think Mike Anhauser will be looking for a real bounce-back performance tonight, when he, you know, he's got a few more creative players in the team. I'm sure the team will be disappointed. And listen, this game hasn't come quick enough, has it? Once you get a bad result and then you get into these games coming thick and fast, and I'm sure every one of those players, that game's gone, it's in the books, they'll be looking for this one, and then as soon as this one's over, they'll be on to Bethlehem still. And if they can get a great result tonight, what a next great 3 days of training it will be before their final game here at MUSC Health Stadium.
It's a 3-game week for both teams out there. We are underway. Third time is officially a charm for these two sides, and it couldn't be a more perfect night here in Charleston, South Carolina. So much is on the line, and it's all about to unfold here from MUSC Health Stadium. And really, Derek, you've got to say the key to these teams for both sides is getting away to a quick start tonight. No,
and I think the Battery will want to do that more than so. They're the home team. They're going to have to take this game to Memphis, aren't they? You know, Memphis themselves, you know, although it's only a slim hope to get into the playoffs, you know, until it's gone, they're going to fight for every single thing they can. And as I said, they look highly motivated. I watched their warm-up, and they'll be expecting to win tonight and keeping their dreams alive, just like the Battery players.
Daly, the young Jamaican, just 18 years old, full of energy. A great pairing up top with Arthur Boschua, the 6'3" South African.
He's coming off his man of the match performance on Saturday. He scored the goal, didn't he? But his work rate, as always, is fantastic. And it'll be interesting. You can see now that, you know, just the difference in the setups now. It looks like Memphis is going to go with a back 3. And with the Battery having 2 strikers in a more traditional 4-4-2, it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to try and play the diamond with Zico at the top of the diamond, Nico Rittmeyer and Higashi giving them a little bit of width in that midfield, and the 2 big lads up front.
Sure, they're looking for an early chance. Mueller plucks out the sky and straight out the back from the veteran in his 8th season with the black and yellow. And of course, for Mike Anhauser, 2 crucial returners to the lineup. AJ Patterson and Zico Lewis returning from international duty couldn't be at a more critical time.
Now, as I said earlier on in the pre-game broadcast, you know, it's like having new signings when you get kids coming back from international duty, and both of them had great performances in you know, although Zico's team lost 5-1 to Mexico.
Taro Higashi looking.
Yeah, he had a great performance, and to play against that quality of team is fantastic. So he'll be fired up, and I spoke to him earlier on in the week, and he can't wait to get back in and help his team get through to hopefully a good playoff run.
Final week of the USL Championship regular season. For both these sides, it will conclude on Saturday. For Memphis 901, they'll take on the current reigning USL Championship champions, Louisville City, at AutoZone Park. And for the Charleston Battery, they'll be on home soil to close out the season against Bethlehem Steel. So 2 absolute massive matches to keep their postseason dreams alive. And of course, for the Charleston Battery, they're the only team in the modern era that has made the postseason every year they have been a club. They'll be looking to keep that going again this year more than ever.
Yeah, and one of the good things tonight is that people, viewers won't know that all the Battery and Fleet Youth team players are here doing assessments on these players tonight, and you know, it's a real education for them, and what a game to come and assess players.
There's Cam Lindley. Ball Queen sings his praises on a regular basis. If he's having a good game, then the chances are so is the team. 2 important players to know out, unavailable for selection for the visitors. Brandon Allen and Pierre da Silva, who both were shown a red card against Charlotte Independence in their last match. Just a bit of frustration from those two players. And the likes of Adam Najam to step back into the mix in the middle of the park. Patterson wins the aerial. Taro Higashi down the flank. Puts inside Zico Lewis. Noku Daly, this is where he's most dangerous. Just to go back on this occasion, Kelly into the box. We saw so many flashes last game, Derek, of just how lethal Noku Daly can be in and around the box. An absolute nightmare to defend, especially for a veteran backline like this.
No, I mean, he's got everything. He's unpredictable. He's got great pace.
Marcus Epps. Bad shape to the rescue. Joker's missed his first touch.
I was going to say, yeah, you know, he's unpredictable. He's got pace. He's got trickery, and the fact he's got that youthful enthusiasm that just, you know, these more senior players just don't like. You know, and he can turn on a sixpence, and he's a big physical lad. I think that's the one thing we haven't really spoke about. You know, he's about a 6'1", 6'2", very powerful, good runner. And I'm sure he'll want to use all his frame tonight to get a result for this team.
Bit of a super sub so far this season, makes only his 4th start of the year. Here's Zico Lewis, top of the box. Traffic surrounds him, can he find a path through? Mark Birch pumps one clear. Mark Birch, one of those experienced members of the back line we were talking about, 13-year MLS veteran. Boshua's in. No worries at the back for Scott Levine.
A chance there, really. Boshua didn't really take the most of that. Great run to get in behind, and we'll get a chance to see that, I'm sure. But great running behind, and he just sort of slipped it back in. He just made the wrong choice. But it's a good, positive start by the Battery, isn't it? You know, the territorial, they've definitely, you know, taken control of the game. They're going to start passing it now, and as I said, I think the impetus must come from them tonight. You know, they're the ones that are at home. You know, Memphis, you know, if they get something from this game, their mathematical chances, they're still reliant on other people. The Battery, it's all in their hands, and they'll want to get that going.
Nico Rittmeyer. Shot deflected as he tracks back. Elvis Obmanovic gives it in favour of the visitors. Just talking about how good the Battery have been at home, year in, year out. Brilliant on home soil. They've only lost 3 games at home, including that one to Loudoun United on Saturday. And that was a heartbreaking end to a positive performance, you've got to say. Yeah,
no, I think for large parts of the game they took an early lead. They were very much in the driving seat for most of the game, and then, to be fair to Loudoun, they sort of clawed their way back into the game, and it was a bit of a smash and grab at the end. And lessons will be learned for the Battery. You know, that certainly shouldn't happen again. And I think sometimes results like that can really motivate a team, especially at this stage of the season.
Every game has to be played like a playoff game, Mike Hanhauser saying earlier this week. Here's Patterson. Taking the options on, but finds the feet of the Japanese veteran at the edge of the box. Higashi, one-on-one with Birch, whips one in, takes a deflection, he picks up the seconds. Here comes the first corner kick of the evening. And of course it's going to be the Bermudan international Zico Lewis over it.
I always think when you see Higashi running at players and getting in the box, that's a positive sign for the Battery, because he is a very good runner with the ball. He's very lightweight, and once he's in the box, people are frightened of touching him. So I think that's a good early sign that he's got involved in the game early on.
Zico Lewis, 3 assists on the season so far. Absolutely clinical over these dead ball opportunities. With the delivery towards the back post, Noku is there, takes a touch. Time runs out.
That was obviously something they'd worked on, the way they'd pulled it out, and here's Noku Daly again working extremely hard again.
Doyle, it's time to help defend. Maybe an opportunity for the visitors on the counter. Najam plays one through to Epps. Well done by Jared Van Schaik, because Minsky to chase can't get there in time.
That could be the danger. That was their undoing, wasn't it, on Saturday, that when they had really good possession in the final third, when teams broke against them, sometimes they didn't recover quick enough. And there was an example there where it was their corner, it didn't quite work out. They had a second chance to get it in, and then, you know, there you go, Memphis broke on them, and there was a little bit of danger, and it's resulted in a corner kick. So something they've definitely got to work at going forward.
Mark Birch, the one to take it, an in-swinger from this near side. Several MLS clubs over his career, including Minnesota, Colorado, Seattle, DC, LA Galaxy. Comes the delivery in at the near post. To the top of the box, Lindley fancies his chances. Couldn't quite get the direction on that one.
Commanding play there by Joe Kuzminski. When that corner come in, he made up his mind to go and get it. Got a good punch on it. It was a really good punch. Got distance and into a good area of the field. And, yeah, good early signs for the battery.
Kuzminski been an absolute mainstay this season for Mike Hanhauser. Leads the team in minutes played. Making his 32nd start tonight. 7 clean sheets on the year. Unorthodox out the back by Levine. Doyle, wide. Good work to find space from the visitors. Here's Kunga. Morton with the overlap.
That's what I'm talking about, Cam.
Looks a bit of a painful one off Jared Van Schaik's head there.
Yeah,
no. And again, you know, it's when the battery break, you know, when teams break against them, you know, historically we've always said how good they were defensively in shape, but now they've gone to this 4-4-2 formation. There's slightly more gaps there, and they've just got to make sure that each player picks up their defensive responsibility. And that's something that you'll hope that they've been working on in training specifically from the weekend.
Birch once again trots up to whip this one in. A real true leader in every sense of the word for this Memphis 901 side in their first year. Shove him maybe in the box.
Just got to make sure his hair's right, and then we'll be fine.
Delivery again in the near post. Pumped up, chaos in the box. Kuzminski gets a touch. Collier to ground, and there's a strike. Not out of it just yet.
Great save there by Kuzminski, that was, and you know, again, they're causing havoc in there. They're just throwing bodies, and I think sometimes there you've just got to take some bodies out and let just, you know, the goalie got boxed in there, and that's something that, you know, you don't want to see.
Morton to join in the attack. Pressure from AJ Patterson, who you've got to say, after only making one USL appearance last season for Bethlehem Steel, he's really come into his own so far this year with club and country.
Yeah, I think his country's form has really helped him, hasn't it?
Maybe an opportunity here. Rittmeyer, just a step too far wide. Back to your point though, Derek.
Yeah, no, I think you know, when you're playing well for your country, and it sort of overloads into your club program, and I think that's what he's done. He came. He didn't have the best of starts, did he, for the battery, and then he came in, but his international form has really raised his confidence, and he's brought that back into club football. And it's amazing how some players can do certain ways. Some, you know, I think Zico Lewis is another one. The success of his Bermuda country has really helped his club career, and Battery are the beneficiary of that.
Lewis, of course, helping Bermuda qualify for the Gold Cup for the first time in history. Such a big role in that as well. Jared Van Schaik over the dead ball, whips one into the box. It's dangerous. Levine gets there first. Free kick out to the back.
Goalkeepers are well protected species when those come in. Here we go, we'll have a look at it now. That's a great ball in. Any sort of contact, referees are more likely to do it. There's, you know, I'm sure there's a foul in there somewhere, but they are very much overprotected at times.
Lindley sprays one out wide. No stranger to the Charleston Battery after spending a season on loan here. Gets around Nelson, straight across the box, nobody home. Patterson can't find the black and yellow.
Nelson's just got to do a better job there of defending, isn't he? He's got to be a lot more, you know, tougher to get round. He's got to use his body a little bit more. He's, you know, he's very quick. He's rapid, as they say, and he just needs to be a little bit tighter there. Got beat a little bit too easy there, and that was a good chance for Memphis.
We mentioned Brandon Allen and Pierre da Silva both out on suspension, as is O'Brien Woodbine. For Mike Anhauser will be available for selection for the last game of the regular season. Lewis out wide, Naku Daly with a bit of space. Daly fancies a strike. Lewis finishes it off and just wide of the post.
And again, I think for me, Naku Daly could really benefit from having Zico Lewis in this team. You can see there, he just gives him the ball, it will go. You know, he faces him up one-on-one. He's trying to score a goal, and then Zico Lewis just shows his good technique for coming in. But that's a good combination pair. And I even think Agashi there, he's another one that can really help feed this young man and try and get him to the chances that he craves.
Levine out of the back, not the usual go-to. Caldwell on the bench for Tim Mulqueen tonight. Levine making his 6th start of the season. Former Red Bull 2 product. Mueller. Switch of the flank, Patterson's there. Morton launches one forward, looking for Elliot Collier. Mueller pumps up, Angelo Kelly to help it on its way.
Battery do look a little bit vulnerable for them long straight balls in between the two centre halves. That's something they've got to sort out. They're experienced players, Jared Van Schaik and Taylor Mueller. They should be able to deal with it a lot better than what they're doing right now.
Elliot Collier has been a bit of a super sub as of late. 6 goals on the season so far. 6'4" New Zealand international. Patterson interrupted by Birch.
And I think that's one aspect to his game AJ Patterson's not really given credit for. He is very good going forward, isn't he? You know, he come on late in the game and scored a goal, and you can see that he likes to join in the attack. There's a great little nutmeg there. He gets in, he's just a little bit unlucky that he knocked it a bit too far in front, but he offers a lot more than sometimes people give him credit for.
Agashi for Lewis. Sea of white just swarming Zico Lewis at the top of the box.
Another big player he's a big tall player, Patterson. He's a very good athlete, and I'm saying you know, when he's running at you, you know, you certainly have to make sure you're on your best performance.
Long ball looking for Naku. He will take the corner from that. Just such explosive speed. And I think you said it best, Eric, just so unpredictable when he gets the ball.
No, again, the downside is that for a young player like that is you don't know, sometimes I say it all the time, sometimes his own team don't know what he's going to do, but that's more worrying for the opposition than it is for his own team, especially, you know, look at some of the goals he's got this year. You know, he's purely created them all by himself.
Zico Lewis, corner number 2. Having a word there. Head coach Mike Anhauser on your screen just celebrated his 25th anniversary with the club last season. Over 200 career wins, just an absolute mainstay. Hard to think of the Charleston Battery without thinking of Mike Anhauser. Goes short this time. Agashi leads it a little bit too far on. Another one from the training ground. Didn't quite come to fruition, and now maybe a chance for a counter-attack. Largus Kunga on the run, gets it around Van Schaik. It's still Kunga in the box now, but he can't beat Joe Kuzminski.
And again, they're a victim of their own. You know, the team's broke on them for a second time, and they're going to have to come to terms with that.
Bosch, you're at the other end of the park. Set himself up nicely there, couldn't get to it. Kelly really shown his versatility this season so far, played all over the park in a variety of positions when called upon. Become a bit of an unsung hero of this side.
But going back to that last attack there, they're a little vulnerable. The Battery has said they're almost at their worst when they're in possession in the final third. And they've got to sort that out because they're going to get caught if they don't get to come to terms with that.
Controversy there. Zico Lewis asking for the card. Josh Morton Thinking he was fouled, but he actually wasn't. Let's have another look at this, Derek.
No, I don't like it when players give cards. There's nothing there, and he just grabs the ball. I think what's more worrying is the fact he wouldn't step away from the ball. If Zico Lewis would have tried to play quickly, I think he could have possibly, referee might have taken a different view. I don't like players asking other players to get cards. I really don't. But you can see the frustration there. Zico Lewis just wants to get on with the game.
Van Schaik goes into Naku. It's a ground ball in. Naku completely on his own. Can he create something from it? Back to Van Schaik. Higashi in space now. Kotaro Higashi maybe a touch too much.
No, and I'll tell you what, if we get to see that again, that was great play by Naku Daly. He got the ball played in. He's got two players on him. He played way beyond his years there. He secured the ball in, didn't give it away, rolled it back in. Here we go, and then this is the end of it. And again, I think Higashi will be a little bit disappointed that the outcome of that. He probably should have got his team at least a corner and maybe a shot on goal. If there is a fault in his game, that's it. Sometimes his end product isn't always like the best.
Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com.
I mean, we're 20 minutes into this game, and it's a real open game, isn't it? Two contrasting styles. You've got the Battery that really are having the major part of possession, which is unusual for them. And, you know, they've used to been playing on the counter-attack. And, you know, but Memphis do look dangerous when they break on the Battery, don't they? You know, they've had 2 or 3 really good chances, and it's something that, you know, you hope that the Battery come to terms with it and that they don't get caught. But you can definitely see goals in this game. There's definitely goals in it for, you know, the likes of Naku Daly, Zico Lewis, Higashi. You know, there's definitely some positive signs.
Absolutely right. It was the counter-attack that was the dagger in the late going. The last match on Sunday against Loudoun United. Lewis out wide for Patterson, Granada international. Patterson to whip one into the box, Doyle away.
Again, that was a great ball in by Patterson. It just shows you what he's all about and what he can do going forward. But here we have again, that is a chance for a break.
It's Collier. No worries for Kyle Nelson at the back there. It's his 17th start of the season.
It's not a matter of numbers with the Batteries, it's just about who's going to take those marking responsibilities. I think they're a little bit frightened of the pace. You know, there's a little bit of a worry there. There's enough experience in that back four to overcome that sort of issue.
Unger. Former Atlanta United homegrown. Epps looking for the lead through. Taylor Mueller's there. Kunga gets around him. Kunga in the box. Runs out of options, lays it off to Cam Lindley. And safety in numbers from the home side.
I think it's Kunga's pace and Epps' pace that's worrying the 2 centre-backs for the Battery. That's what it is. It's right now they're reluctant to go nice and tight, especially high up the field, and they're dropping off too much. And then you give those 2 guys, Epps and Kunga, the opportunity to run at them. They're going to do it. And they're both good technicians as well.
Epps, one of the signees from August, like we mentioned in the pre-game, as is Liam Doyle, who's made 12 starts since he arrived at the club. Former Nashville player. Patterson.
We can just move that ball just a little bit quicker from side to side. I'm sure it will cause more problems for this Memphis team.
A good look from Lewis. Patterson trying to get one into the box. They'll bring up another corner opportunity for the home side. Can they capitalise on them though, Derek, is the question.
Yeah, you can see they've been inventive from these set pieces, aren't they? They've had 2, maybe 3 corners now. They've tried a different one each time. I think Zico Lewis would love to be having this corner from the other side. We can really whip it in. But as I said, he's an inventive player, and you can see now he's working with Higashi now just to try and make some sort of overload situation here. It's all about the delivery, isn't it?
some height in the box with Boschua, Mueller and Nelson at the back post. Daly also in the mix. Goes short to Higashi once again. Higashi with the delivery to the back post. Nelson's there. Direct it. Kelly interrupts Kunga.
Great play by Kelly there. Great cover, and he got there nice and early, used his body well, and then retained possession for his team. He's a real unsung hero for me. He's Mr. Versatility, isn't he? He can play most positions, but he works so hard, and he's a very, very good technical player.
1 assist on the season so far. You're absolutely right. One of those players whose stats might not stand out to you. An absolute crucial link in the middle. Epps leads one on for Collier. He's onside, takes a touch, one-on-one with Van Schaik. Finds half a yard, lays it off to Najim.
Collier just doesn't have the pace of Epps or Kunga, and he's not as frightening. And you can see there, Jared Van Schaik's happy just to stand him up, but the other two, there's definitely a worry there with their pace.
Morton joining in the attack. Here's Epps. Look at a couple of his highlights in the preview. We know how dangerous he can be. 4 goals, 4 assists on the season so far. So it's really his pace. The MLS loanee from New York Red Bulls.
There's a lot of young kids, as I said, watching this tonight from the Charleston Battery Youth Programme, and he's one of the players they highlighted. You know, he's a great runner with the ball, which is a big focus of our youth programme, which is good. And, you know, he's a great technician for them to watch, and as is, you know, Zico Lewis, as is Taylor Mueller as a centre-back. So there's lots of good players on view tonight for these kids to get a real education.
Stay with us at half-time. We'll look at the Battery's newest signing. A fantastic example of the pathway to the pro, like you're implementing here with the youth system, Derek.
No, I mean, we say it all the time, every club wants their homegrown players coming through, and you see local kids getting their chance. It's fantastic. It puts bums on seats, and it's a real good thing for the community.
Lewis helping defend. Here's Van Schaik. Trying to lead Boschua on. Boschua gets around him in the box, takes a touch back. Higashi. Safety in numbers once again from the visitors. Boschua looking for the flick on, it's there, and a fingertip save from Levine over the top of the bar. What a chance that was.
And that all comes from the creativity of Zico Lewis, doesn't it? That's great play. Again, you know, Gashi's done well. He started off with an unbelievable pass by Jared Van Schaik to the outside of the foot, but look at this, look, he just looks up, it's a little chip there, and even there he knows what he's just trying to lift it over the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper just gets his fingertips to it. But that's great play by Zico Lewis and Arthur Boschua.
Absolute fantastic save there, like you said, perfect texture on the ball from Zico Lewis. Just returned from international duty, his first game back. He has got a spring in his step, that's for sure.
It's hard to teach that.
Lewis, dangerous one, Doyle. Patterson trying to recycle. And here comes that long ball once again. Couldn't bring it to fruition though.
Memphis have seen it. They know they can play on the counter-attack, don't they? You see that there. Like, you know, they've won possession in their own half. They know that the Battery have dropped off. There's numbers up. Numbers down there, and they're happy to get it forward quickly and play on that counter-attack.
Nelson, the Wofford College product. Patience from the home side. You can hear Mike Anhauser down below just dishing some instruction.
When you come to these games, the first goal's crucial, isn't it? You know, if the home team can get it, can settle them down, and you know, they can build on a performance. If they concede it, then you know it's a little bit more desperation comes in. And there's again, that's a quick break again from this Memphis team.
Collier to get around the captain.
I said his pace is not as frightening as the other two guys, Kunga and Epps, so it's a little bit easier to defend, and you can see he's a lot more comfortable, Taylor Mueller, defending that type of player.
Higashi straight through the middle. Zico Lewis on the run this time, and once again Levine out of his box to clear it up.
It's good play there by the two defenders there. Angelo Kelly again intelligent, just head it up and get it back, and then they can restart again. So it really is a team of two different styles, isn't it? You've got the Battery that are trying to press and probe and get in behind, and you know, as I said, get Zico Lewis on the ball to look for those little gaps, and then you've got, you know, Memphis that predominantly now, and quite rightly so, are playing on the counter attack, but they do look dangerous.
Looping ball over. Boshua. Higashi brings it down. Out wide to Patterson. Patterson. Strike denied. Marcus Epps back to help out defend. Visitors can't work it out. Kelly. To the local product, Savannah native, Nico Rittmeyer. And this is exactly what Zico Lewis wants, like you mentioned, on that left foot, upcoming corner.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't be trying to do anything fancy here. I'm sure he'll be whipping this ball in. He's got great quality with that left foot. And, you know, he's already scored once this season from a corner kick. But when that ball comes flashing across the box, I mean, it doesn't have to be your own player. It could hit any player and go in, and he does do it. And everyone knows it. I think Higashi's going to go out there as a decoy, but I'll be very amazed if this doesn't get thrown into the box.
Shaking Kelly, the last two. Nelson, Mueller, Boshua, the height in the box, like we mentioned.
Something round the back could work here.
Zico Lewis into the near post is Captain Taylor Mueller. A critical goal, it's a critical time, and the captain's called upon.
No, and I said we called it, didn't we? It's a great delivery in. You've only got to get something on it, and Taylor Mueller does that run all the time, runs across, but look, his timing's perfection. Look, just all he's got to do is use the pace of the corner kick, direct the ball towards goal, and that's a great goal. And that could be the catalyst now to get this team. Look what it means to him, look. And, you know, Taylor Mueller is the captain in every sense of the word with this team, and naturally now that can spur them on to a really good, solid performance and hopefully lead to the points that will get them to that playoff spot.
Taylor Mueller in his 8th season with the black and yellow, his 2nd goal of the year. An absolute cracker in the box. But we've seen time and time again, Memphis return the scoring quick, so these next few minutes are absolutely crucial.
No, you know, it's a great goal, and again, I think, you know, their possession and the way they've approached this game deserves the 1-0 lead. Now the next 10 minutes is crucial, isn't it? You've got to, you know, the first thing you look for is half-time. You've got 15 minutes, which is a long time. You know, it's a third of the half. Now they've got to make sure that they keep that pressure on. And I think you'll see a little bit more, look at it, the defensive shape, you can see it already now. There's not so much energy to get forward, just rely on your shape, defend it for the next couple of minutes and see if you can keep the other team at bay.
Straight back to absorb some pressure here. Dunga looking to whip one in. Will go out for a corner, and Taylor Mueller furious there. Busy organising his defenders in the box.
Say, don't you, when you score, your team's at their most weakness, and that, hopefully that's not the case here with the Battery. You know that once you score, you've got to regroup, you've got to refocus your mind, get that celebration out of your mind, and start focusing on the real core parts of soccer, which is the defensive part.
Mueller and Doyle, that's a good matchup. Daly. He's looking to take off on his own, down the middle of the park. He's the player that you want one-on-one. Nikhil Daly, the Jamaican international, sets himself up, but he's denied at the back. Brilliant defending there from Metzger.
Yeah, and Metzger knew he was beat for pace, didn't he? But to be fair, he delayed him and gave his goalkeeper a chance, so that was good. But again, great direct running by Nikhil Daly. And it, again, comes from Taylor Mueller, the other end, then he gets the header, but he was the one winning that header in his own box as well. So shows you can do it both sides of the game and in both boxes.
There's not many players that fancy their chances taking off sprinting the entire length of the pitch. Nikhil Daly, however, is one of them. And now this could be very dangerous. An opportunity here for the visitors. Up comes the captain, Mark Birch.
It's amazing how the roles have reversed in the last couple of minutes since the goal. You know, the Battery were the ones pushing and probing and pressing, and then and were vulnerable to the counter-attack, and all of a sudden now you just saw with Nikhil Daly, straight away goals changed, the Battery have dropped off a little bit, and now the Battery are the ones playing on the break. Nikhil Daly was very, very unlucky there not to get a second goal. And now the next goal in this game is crucial, isn't it? This is what it comes down to now.
Mark Birch, Cam Lindley over the dead ball. Cam Lindley leads the side in assists, 7 on the season. Maybe just out of straight strike range here. What do you think, Derek?
No, I think he's well within range, and I said that the wall's got to be nice and secure. He's got room to get the ball up and over the wall.
Doing the right here will be Birch, punched away by Kuzminski.
It's a nice height for him, wasn't it? I mean, it was a good strike, and it's on target, and that's all you can ask for from your strike, for the person taking the free kick. But it's a nice height for Joe Kuzminski. He takes no chances and puts it behind, and he'll settle for that corner. A little bit of pressure here from Memphis. As I said, it's completely flipped on its head since the goal, and now the battery's chance to turn to defend.
Birch once again. Back post this time. A bit chaotic in the box with these deliveries.
And what this does highlight, and then we have got a lot of young players watching and listening, and you know, if you've got people that can hit good dead balls, you've got Zico Lewis, you've got Birch, you get good delivery in the box, and you know, he's hit 2 or 3 good corners, Birch, tonight, same as Zico Lewis. It just shows you how influential and how important set pieces are at this level.
Started all but 2 games so far this season.
I think the battery would just do themselves a little bit of a favour just to retain possession again, not force the game, just keep it a bit, kill the game off a little bit. Don't have to get another one straight away.
Najam in the middle. Touches there from Nelson. Lewis. By some greenery to settle it down. Gets the 1-2 Zico Lewis all over the park. Metzger. To Najam. So well in the middle of the park with Lindley.
Now the battery would do themselves a real favour now, just taking the sting out of the game. They don't have to play forward, just again pass it round the back, make Memphis work hard now to get the ball back. Just keep passing that ball. Don't have to go forward. Start again, rather than give it away there.
Into a touch of trouble. No damage done. Fans, you can follow the Charleston Battery and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC and many more. Join over the 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the Championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com.
This is now where the battery, as I said, this is good play now. Just keep it all, see if you can pull this Memphis team out, pull them out of shape. No rush. See, that's a loose pass there. Don't need to do that. They can, you know, keep the ball, let them work, let them chase it round, let them put them, you know, keep the pressure down the far end of the field.
Short out of the back, Morton to Metzger. Najam looking to lead one on for Kunga. Nicely done by Kyle Nelson.
Keep going!
Less than 10 minutes left to play of the first half here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's game wherever you are. And what a game it is. So much in the balance, as we've mentioned. Najam takes a deflection, Kuzminski off his line.
I'm sure Mike Anaz will think the last couple are way too loose for his liking. You know, as I said, they need a good long spell of possession. You know, they don't have to force the play. They've just got to keep it, as I said, Taylor Mueller to, you know, just pass it around the back and go back to the goalkeeper, take the sting out of the game, and then that half time will come so much quicker. There you go, he's using his experience now. Use his keeper. Take the sting out of the game, just pass it front, try and draw this Memphis team out and then look for spaces in behind. No need to force it.
The experience you're talking about, Taylor Mueller, 4th all-time in battery appearances, only behind Dusty Nudok. And John Wilson, who is sat down below next to Mike Hanhauser on the bench. Oshua straight across, Patterson's there. Nicely read. Here's Higashi, top of the box. Trying to lead one on. Patterson does enough. It doesn't take a deflection. And here comes Levine.
And I'd like to see the batter a little bit more patient there again. They're forcing it a little bit, even in the final third. You know, if it's not on, spin it out, go round, go back to your midfield players. A little bit more patience, and that's demoralising for a team that's a goal down and the other team's passing it around. Don't give it back cheaply.
Just giving his team a chance to get up the park. Oshua into the midfield to help win the aerial. So looking for room to roam. Rittmeyer. A good switch at the flank there.
Patterson's a little bit loose for that pass. Doesn't have to make that pass, I don't think. I think he's done it a little bit longer.
Physical presence from Collier there. 2 balls on the pitch. Down below as Liam Doyle just trotting off to knock the other out. Collier, he'll take the strike, no worries for Kuzminski. Calm and collected at the back.
We'll be happy with Collier shooting from there. He's a big boy, isn't he? You don't want him in the box doing his stuff there. As I said, I don't think he's blessed with pace, but he's a great technician. You see, he's a great strike from distance on target.
Most of 2018 with Chicago Fire. 9 games played. He scored a goal on his debut for them. One with MLS experience.
Right in front of the referee there, Niku Daly was there. He's done brilliant again, use his strength, and I think he felt he had a foul. But the referee was a lot closer than us, and I'm sure he made the correct decision there.
Morton. All the way around the back for the visitors. Liam Doyle, the Englishman from the Isle of Man. One of the inaugural members of the Nashville team. 54 games played for them, a team high of 53 starts. Absolute key links and a brilliant pickup for Memphis in August. Higashi. Room to roam in front of him. Positive touch from Patterson. Daly.
You'd like to see this young man in one-on-one situations in good areas.
And with his pack to goal, we know how dangerous he can be. Nothing to come of it that time.
You must expect something to happen every time he gets it. He's a victim of his own success sometimes.
He certainly gets the fans up off their seats around us. Boshua, this could be a chance. Oh, Boshua hits the post. And a hold your breath moment for the visitors, but they get away with it.
Very unlucky that was, and again, you know, the downside of that is now they're defending. They've got bodies behind now. That's good. They've recovered. They're getting great play again. Higashi there, wasn't it, doing very, very well. And Boshua's done brilliant there for a big boy. He's spun in the box, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to see that one again in a moment. But that was a very, very good effort. Very unlucky.
Parker Boshua with his 4th goal of the season against Loudoun United on Sunday. Being at the door again tonight. Here's Collier. Back to Morton. Doyle looking to generate the attack. See, once again, poor boy fell onto the field over there. Metzger.
More positive from Memphis, isn't it? You know, a nice little spell of possession here. See where it leads.
With Higashi, Boshua back to help out. Well worked out from the black and yellow. Here's Angelo Kelly. Angelo Kelly, the Honduran, in his second season with the Battery, had a spell with Mississippi Brilla of the PDL before joining the Black and Yellow.
And that's intelligent play there by Kelly and Zico Lewis, and they realised they'd run up a blind alley, and then they just kept the ball. And again, let's see if Nelson does the same. See another loose one by Nelson. Again, he could have probably come back there, delayed that a little bit longer rather than give him away. And with 2 minutes to go, you know, it's going to be vital that this Battery team can get there. Here's this chance here by Boscia. It's great play. Look, what a lovely little pass that is. And he used his left foot. So unlucky. And I think Nico Rittmeyer, I think it was at that place, just wasn't in the right place just to tap it in, and it would have been a nice, easy tap in. Look at that. Look, great turn and spin and hit. And it could even hit the defender and gone in.
Sure, doing fantastically to set himself up there. Former Ivy League two-time Offensive Player of the Year at Columbia University. Levine, straight out the back, flicked on by Collier.
He's had a quiet half, and in Nico Rittmeyer, you know, we haven't said his name too many times, but you can see he's working up and down the whole time. You know, we'd love to see him working. I think Patterson's done a great job getting forward in the first half, and to the detriment of probably Nico Rittmeyer on the other side. You know, a lot of their success has come down this left-hand side in front of us, and if they can get Nico Rittmeyer doing the same thing on the far side, I'm sure that will really help the Battery out in this second half.
Rittmeyer, the College of Charleston product, Savannah native. Real fan favourite around here. It's just what you were talking about, Derek. No rush to get us back underway.
No, I think, you know, if I'm Mike Anhauser now, I'm happy for this to go back to Joe Kuzminski. Just take the sting out of the game. I think they're going to throw it in there because I see there's a chance. Personally, as I said, I think these players now, look, give it to Taylor Mueller, give it back to Joe Kuzminski, get to half-time, and we'll settle for that.
See how much time will be added. Here could be a chance, though. Zico Lewis, straight across the back of the box. Just a bit too much on that one. No added on time in the first half, but the Battery head into the locker room 1-0 up. Derek, your thoughts on the first 45?
I think if you might, Anna, you'd be very happy. I think, you know, they've created some very good chances. They've hit the post. They've scored a very, very good goal from a set piece. You know, he'll be very, very pleased. I think he'll be a little bit worried about how Memphis are getting them on the counter-attack. They've done that a few times, so there's definitely things to talk about in the locker room. But all in all, if you're Mike Anhauser, you're very, very pleased. If you're Memphis, you've got work to do if you want to remain in this playoff race.
Stay with us at half-time. We'll take a look at the next upcoming home game and the final for the Battery. Of course, a new player signing, and of course, a look around the league. It's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here between the Charleston Battery and Memphis 901. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. And Derek, it has been a crazy season, but the end is in sight. The Charleston Battery will conclude the regular season on Saturday against Bethlehem Steel. And although they've been eliminated from playoff contentions, with them being the MLS affiliate, there's still a lot to play for those players.
No, every time you step onto the field as a Bethlehem Steel player, you've got to impress because you're looking beyond that team. You know, you're looking at your MLS affiliate. So these players will be fired up for this. And again, every end of season game means something. It's the end of one season and then you start looking forward to the next one. So it's going to be a tough game. I think all the pressure is on the Battery, isn't it? Because they've got to win. They've got to get those points to secure that playoff spot. So Bethlehem still will be a little bit freer in their play, but hopefully it'll be a real good game and a big crowd will come out and watch it.
They've got 4 losses in the last 5 games. They'll be looking to end on a high, and of course for Mike Anhouser's side looking to do the same on home soil. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference as it stands at the minute. Still a lot of movement around there at the top of the Eastern Conference, but it's been tight all year long.
No, I think it's the strength of the league, isn't it? You know, any team on any given day can beat another team, and it's fantastic for the fans. It's fantastic for the game that, you know, at any given moment, any team can win. So I think there's no easy games in the league. I think it's going to be very, very important that this game on Saturday, and hopefully the outcome of tonight's game is going to certainly influence what goes on Saturday.
Who can finish the strongest is the question. Let's take a look now at the player spotlight for this week. Some exciting news here in Charleston. Evan Poznansky has signed with the Charleston Battery, a local boy here from Wando High School. A fantastic story for the club.
No, it is, and again, in all aspects of soccer, you want to see a homegrown player, and this is what it is. This boy lives locally. He's been around the place. He plays for one of the top high schools locally, and now he's got his chance to have a professional career. Sadly, he's not currently in our regular youth program. He's come from outside of that because he's already ahead of the game, but hopefully he's a good footprint for many players to come going forward.
A true pathway to the pros example there. We're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have second half action from MUSC Health Stadium. It's the Battery taking on Memphis 901, and it's up next.
Over, Gomez there, Gomez on the Bermudez, puts it home, and Greenville scores. Pepe going for goal! He's given North Texas the moment.
What this club is trying to do is offer a real sense of community.
But it's all about the process. Make sure you're doing the little things right.
We have a really strong locker room, and everybody really wants to do well for the club.
Good afternoon, faithful. This is a big day. This is a big deal for us. This is a win for the community.
We've been averaging, between, I would say, 10 and 12,000 a game.
And it is a loud, boisterous 10,000, 12,000, and they love us, and we love them just as much. I mean, it's a reciprocal relationship at all times.
We never thought that we would grow this fast.
I have to pinch myself because, it sometimes seems too good to be true, but it's not. It's been pretty unbelievable, and it's been done better than I ever could have dreamt of, to be honest.
This is a club for New Mexico, by New Mexicans.
And I don't think that we're done yet. It's just getting started.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here between the Charleston Battery and Memphis 901. The players just about to head back out, but first let's take a look around the league presented by Home Telecom. And of course, the hot topic, Derek, there. As you can see, the playoff race well and truly on now. The Battery conclude against Bethlehem Steel. 6 points is absolutely crucial. And of course, on the other hand, for Memphis, if they don't pick up a point, they're eliminated.
Yeah, no, if the score stays as is right now, Memphis are eliminated and the Battery in a really good position with the game with Birmingham going on tonight. But, you know, everything's going to come down to the wire on Saturday. Everyone's got their games. You know, you'd like to think the Battery having a home game against Bethlehem Steel will still put them in pole position to get that final playoff spot. And again, St. Louis are in a good position as well to get one as well. So either way, it's going to be a tough end of the season. And I think right now, Memphis have got everything to do to try and remain in this playoff race.
All eyes will be on Birmingham Legion and New York Red Bulls 2, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Still all to play for, only 2 spots remain. We're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll take a look at the first half highlights. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here. The playoff race hangs in a balance on tonight's results. The Charleston Battery hosting Memphis 901. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. Both teams out and just about ready to go. But first, let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Well, it was a great, start for the Battery. You had a few chances. The first one by Zico Lewis from, good play from Niku Daly. Sorry, get my teeth right. And then this was the sort of format of the first half. The Battery had a lot of possession. Memphis played on the break, but you could see that this was a great piece of skill by Zico Lewis setting up Arthur Boschua, who had a couple of good chances in the first half. Here's the goal from the Taylor Mueller from the set piece, which was a really good delivery again, and something we've seen many times before. This was the breakaway here by Niku Daly again, where he broke away, showed his pace, and this final one here where Boschua just hits the post on a great little spin and turn in the box. So you can see there just from the number of chances that Battery created, but it was that breakaway opportunity for Memphis that has kept them in the game, and let's see how it unfolds in this second half.
You're absolutely right. The counter-attack from Memphis looked very dangerous at times. If you're Mike Anhauser, do you think that was the message to his team, is be aware of that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he'll want to keep going forward, but a little bit more measured. It doesn't have to be as dramatic to get in forward. They'll think there's more goals in this. He spoke about that in his pre-game interview. But for me, really, it's like, how do they counter that counter-attack? Because if they don't concede now, their playoff spot looks so much better than if they do.
No changes at the half for Mike Anhauser's side. Just one change for Memphis. 9:01, Wes Sharpie out, and in comes Abdi Mohammed into the back line.
And if you're Memphis now, you know, it's win or bust now, isn't it? They've got to go for it. If they want to have any chance of being in this playoff race, they've got to score 2 goals in this half.
Joshua brought down in the box. Salmanovic waves play on. Massive presence at the back. Liam Doyle, 6'4", coming up against 6'3" Arthur Boschua. A very physical matchup for both sides.
As I said, you know, it was last chance saloon for this Memphis team, but now they've really got to throw everything the kitchen sink forward if they've got any chance of staying forward, because a defeat here or even a draw doesn't help them one bit. They're eliminated. So you'd like to see a little bit more urgency from them, and that may fall into the battery's hands there, where they can play a little bit more on a counter-attack with their goods, because they've got good pace with Daly and Boschua coming forward. So who knows, it could be a really exciting second half.
Mohammed working down this flank. Epps, nice bit of trickery there. Lindley to return to centre, just a touch too much as it runs away, and up comes Kyle Nelson.
I'd like to see a lot more positivity coming out of this Memphis team, because as I said, that, you know, you'd like to think that they really still feel they do have a chance, a genuine chance, and as I said, that could fall right into the battery's hands.
Boschua, safety in numbers from the Memphis back line. Birch. Derek, both these teams coming in off losses, both looking to turn the tide, but when you can make it into playoffs and every game leading up to it has been a must-win, it almost sets you in good stance for those must-win games that you see in the postseason.
I think as professional players, they're all must-win games to a point, but yeah, to your point, probably that you know, this playoff, the way that the league is set up, you know, the last 5 or 6 games, you know, if you're generally in there with a chance, everything's on them, and you know, players do feel that pressure, but not as much pressure as when they get into the playoffs. When they get into the playoffs, it is win and done. I mean, at least now every team here has a second game this weekend, and the battery really will be looking to try and set themselves up so that, you know, they're not relying on anybody else. Memphis are already in that situation. They've got to hope other teams fail, but the battery's still in their hands, and a good positive result tonight will help them with that.
For Memphis as well, we mentioned those suspensions are here coming at the back post. Kunga. Ajam, ground ball, a dangerous one. You can hear Mike Anhauser shout, you've got to double team there. Battery get away with one, the danger not over though. Kunga trying to work it in the box. Outstanding defending there from the striker.
The battery in the last couple of games haven't really started the second half well. They've taken time to come in. They got pegged back a few games ago, and hopefully that's not going to happen again today. They've got to come out much stronger and tougher in the second half, ready to play.
Here's Higashi looking for things to open up in front of him. Kelly. Mohammed regains the possession. Metzger. Well, both teams looking to come out on the front foot, but you've got to say it's been very back and forth in this opening couple of minutes.
It's probably a bit too loose for Mike Anhauser right now. He'll want his team to get a better foothold in this game. If you're Memphis, you know, you can say that they have to come, everything's on the line for them. They're going to have to be a lot more positive they were in the first half.
Opportunity at the top of the box for Collier. Safety in numbers once again. Kunga. Patterson desperately trying to keep him out, unable to do so, but nobody knocking at the other end of the box. Physical matchup we talked about, nobody behind Boschua.
Daly are too far apart in that situation there, and they've got to get a lot closer together. Right now, you know, you've got to say Memphis definitely have come out, you know, the better of the two teams, the battery of, you know, sometimes they are a little bit guilty of taking too long to come into the game. You know they'll come into it. I mean, they always do. But, you know, yeah, a few little worrying signs there right now.
The battery have been excellent at home this season, only 3 losses on the year when they're on home soil. On the other hand, Memphis have struggled a bit on the road, only 4 road wins this season so far.
They're still coming to terms with this league, aren't they? They're a new club, and you know they'll address that in time. You know, like most clubs do. It's a it's a whole new ball game when you come into this league, and it's a big step up. And there's, you know, we've said it many times. There's no easy games. That's why every year the league and the playoffs goes to the wire.
Doyle. Big ball across the box. Getting involved on the far side, ground ball in, Van Shakes there.
Casual again by Higashi there, too casual.
Epps, he's been dangerous in the first half, looking to set it up on a platter there. But it'll go in favour of Mueller. Marcus Epps, we mentioned him in the pre-game, the MLS loanee, has been very busy on and off the ball so far tonight.
Now he's a real threat. Him and Kunga have been a real threat to the Battery back line. The Battery now definitely need a nice little bit of spell of possession here where they can play themselves back into this game. You know, as I said, they're playing too much on the break. This might have worked for them with Boschua getting in front.
Daly trailing just behind. Birch forced with the heavy touch. And a corner really created from half a chance there.
This is one of them games where if the Battery can get a second goal, it really could be the dagger through the heart for this Memphis team in terms of their playoff, and it might sort of you know, break their spirit, if you like, and then that can be the spur to go on and, you know, make this a comfortable win for them. The longer it stays 1-0, the game's in the balance, it's always going to be tough.
The height from the back line joins in the attack. Zico Lewis looks like he's going to go long this time. Go short once again to Higashi. Higashi with the delivery. Boschua there at the back post, absolutely open. Patterson.
Definitely see the Battery have worked on their set pieces, can't you? And Zico Lewis is at the centre of everything that they're doing.
Here's Niku Daly, a fantastic turn from the Jamaican. Wriggles in and out, gets the strike away. Tell you what, not too far over the top of the bar.
Again, it shows what the little man's about, then, or the young man, not the little man. He's a big guy, but you know, the young lad, he's again so unpredictable. 2 turns, 2 little drag backs, and he gets his shot off. Not the greatest shot, but the fact he's getting shots off from that age, it just shows how threatening he can be.
Here's what you like, Derek. Rittmeyer running at the back line. Boschua gives the 1-2. Box, it goes back post.
Whitmire's got so much ability that when he does it, he doesn't realise how threatening he can be.
Trying to bring it down. Lewis just a step too late to pick up the seconds.
This is a better spell in it for the Battery. You know, they've sort of woken up now, but it's taken them like 8 minutes to sort of get in the game now. They've got some good possession. You know, I always talk about spells in the game, and you know, the Battery can't always allow teams to have that 5-10 minute spell, because you know it's cost them in previous games. The quicker they can get to the races in this second half, the better it is for them. But they look like they've got over that little hurdle now. They're back in the game, and now we'll see where it goes for the next 10-15 minutes.
Fans, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following the Charleston Battery on ESPN.com. Search for the Battery, then click the follow button to keep up to date with the latest news, scores, and get reminders on the Battery's next match. Go to ESPN.com and click follow for your club. Birch trying to build from the back once again. Collier. The visitors find themselves on the front foot. A good ball across. AJ Patterson. Morton just winning the physical battle there. And up comes an opportunity. And it looks like we'll see AJ Patterson, I think it was there.
No, I think it's Zico Lewis for talking. I think he's given the card to Lewis there for talking. He's been moaning and getting in the referee's face. Here we go. Look, I don't think he's given this for the foul. Yeah, Zico Lewis has got it. He's just he's been talking to the ref, getting a little bit frustrated. I don't mind it from players like him because it's his enthusiasm to win. He wants to win, doesn't he? You can see he's come back in from his international duty. He's very competitive. Wants to see his team win. He knows they're not having the greatest spell. They're just coming back into it, and he's still competitive to win.
You're right. Back in Charleston just before the Loudoun United match. Didn't play any minutes on Sunday. Like you said, absolutely raring to go here tonight.
He's got to keep his emotions in check tonight, and then he'll be fine.
Mark Birch over the dead ball. You're right, on Kunga at the back. Birch straight in towards Kuzminski and just catching practice for the goalkeeper.
Birch up to now been very impressed with his delivery, but he'd like that one back again. That wasn't a good one, and there's another loose one by Joe Kuzminski there. He's just got to focus a little bit. The game's going for a little bit of a scrappy sense, isn't it, right now? You know, I think Memphis come out, all guns blazing, Battery sort of played their way back in, and now we're at that little sort of stalemate side where there's a lot of mistakes, a little bit of like, see what happens now, whatever he gives you, he's giving it to the Battery. It's just got a little bit scrappy now, and you know, either team now's got to take a good foothold in the game for this second half and really try and, you know, get them to actually take control and see if they can actually go on and cement a good result.
Daly outside the box. Ground ball in, it's a good one, and Birch to safety. Well, some maybe not so good news if you're a Charleston Battery fan. The Birmingham-New York Red Bull game has kicked off in the 11th minute. Birmingham have opened the scoring. Of course, that one a later kickoff at 8 p.m. Eastern, so still a long way to go on that one. I'm sure keeping your eye on the scores around the league for these midweek games.
We've almost got a carbon copy here again. Taylor Mueller, Zico Lewis. You know he's going to be a really good delivery coming into the box. Let's see how it goes this time.
In at the near post, flicked on by Rittmeyer. Struggling to get it out their feet there. Nelson. This is the danger you were talking about, Derek. To not let them hit on the counter. Brilliantly defended by Van Schaik there.
Could be a double whammy here with Zico Lewis breaking on.
Lewis out wide to Kelly. Kelly for the Q Daly, who goes sliding in, but not before Scott Levine retrieves the ball.
It's a little bit end to end now, isn't it? You know, Memphis are breaking, Battery are breaking, and as I said, Mike Anhauser will just want a little bit more composed possession of the ball. At 1-0, Memphis are in it. They're in the game.
Najim, wide for Mohammed. Visitors looking for a spell of possession. Epps. Down below, Vincenzo Candela. He might be getting ready to make his way in. Mueller trying to clear it out. A hold your breath moment there.
Everyone just looked at the referee, didn't they, when he went down? You know, when a player goes down screaming like that. To be fair to Taylor Mueller, he kept his cool, didn't he? Stayed nice and composed, and he was fine.
Rittmeyer.
Wondering whether Mike Anhauser sees the frustration on Zico Lewis and may be tempted to take him out with that yellow card. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I'm trying to look around to see if anyone's injured, but
he's got a few attacking midfield options on the bench. Char Brian Anunga being another one. On the front foot, Rittmeyer into the box. Boscher was there and couldn't get the redirection on it.
29. So there's going to be a substitution. We're just trying to look to see what's going on. Vincenzo Canza picked up a hand injury, didn't he, last weekend, and he came out. I wondered why he was having a great game, and then I heard he got a bit of an injury, but it's all wrapped up now. If he is going to come on, you know, he's back to full fitness.
Fracture in his hand, but luckily with a bit of padding, he's good to go for tonight. First season pro, 10 former conference player of the year. Couple of rookie standouts on either side. Metzger. All invited to join in. Canzala now has the opportunity to make his way in, and it's going to be Nakiu Daly to make his way off. He's having a fantastic game, Derek. You have to remember the big shift that he put in on Sunday. It's a quick turnaround for all these players.
And him particularly, he's a young lad, isn't he? You know, he's a young boy. He's finding his way in the game. He's, you know, he's an impact player. And I think that what he's done there is he's not happy. I mean, that's a great sign when he's not happy coming off. But I think he'll sit down. He'll get the plaudits from his team. And as I said, I think that's just a case of just trying to shore up a little bit. I think Mike Anhauser's not happy with how the team started his second half, and he'll push Zico Lewis a little bit further up. I think with Boschua and Candela will just sit in there. It'll be more of a flat four now, more of a traditional flat four rather than the diamond that they played in the first half.
Candela, the Colombian, in his second season with the Battery. He's 24 years old, but already has 5 years of playing experience prior to Charleston overseas in Europe.
It's quite a shrewd move because Zico Lewis playing further up in a little bit more of a freer role. You know, it certainly will tighten up the midfield because Candela's definitely that competitive midfield player that, you know, not many people get the better of him, do they, in that position? So you can see the thinking behind that. So him and Kelly will be a more traditional pairing in the middle. And certainly Zico Lewis will have a little bit more freedom to go in and join in with Boschua. And I think it will even help Gashi as well because he's got a little bit more freedom as well.
It's been a bit of a revolving door for the middle two so far this season with Anunga Candela. Here's Rittmeyer, a ground ball into Zico Lewis. Zico Lewis maybe one too many touches, but he's still got it. And he finds the back of the net regardless. And Zico Lewis makes it too.
And I'll tell you what, you said it earlier, I love seeing Nico Rittmeyer run with the ball, but wait till you see this little bit of persistence there. He lost the ball there, he lost control of it, he used his body, he spun him well, and I think that's an outstanding goal. You'll see it again, but it's a clever little ball in here, but look, he's out-muscled 2 players there, but that goal is all about determination and quick feet, and he deserves it. As I said, you know, that turns the substitution into a great substitution by Mike Anhauser, doesn't it? And then I'm sure even, you know, Nakiu Daly will applaud his coach now for that little tactical change that's come about.
He was given the room to roam up top. He's done just that. Created something out what we thought maybe was nothing. Zico Lewis made it too. And now he's just given the Battery a little bit of cushion, which they so desperately needed.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, you know, they don't want to rest on their laurels because if Memphis can get a goal back into it, they say 2-0 is a very bad score in soccer, isn't it? Because if you get one, the momentum goes. Now it's all about keeping your shape, keeping your discipline, and keep doing the things you've been doing. But that was an outstanding goal by Zico Lewis. And again, probably the first time Nico Rittmeyer's really took the initiative to get forward down the line. I love it when he drives forward. He's got good strength, he's got good power and good technique. And as I said, I thought we were going to see the goal again. But if we do, you know, it's worth seeing a few times, I think.
Zico Lewis with his 7th goal of the season.
Here it is again.
Let's have another look at it.
Yeah, it's all about persistence there. He loses control. He's a little bit of skill there, but it's all about persistence. And he definitely gets that.
Joe Kuzminski at the other end of the park. Ollia in the mix. Muller doing well to communicate with the goalkeeper there. Just back to Zico Lewis having a phenomenal season for club and country. You can see he's had a spring in his step since the first whistle, absolutely relishing being out there tonight.
He's a soccer lad, as I said. I knew him when he was younger, and you know, I had the pleasure of working with him.
Lindley over the top, it's Epps, this could be dangerous. Van Schaik and Kuzminski managed to work it out.
I said I had the pleasure of working with Zico when he was a young lad. He always had enthusiasm. He was feisty when he was younger, and you know, that feistiness has just earned him a goal there, isn't it? His competitive edge, and he's a real nice lad. He's matured into a very good football player, and he's done very, very well.
He was originally drafted by New York Red Bulls after MLS before playing a couple of seasons over in Iceland. There he is on the ball again. Candela finds some space. AJ Patterson.
He's up for the challenge now, Zico, and he wants the ball every opportunity now. It's a great sign. Again, you've got to give coaches plaudits sometimes. You know, he's made that little change, isn't it, when he come in and your little tactical change works, and it gives you that extra little bit of impetus in the game. It could actually end up being a game-winning substitution. That's good.
Just talking of that substitution, Candela, not a bad one to have in the midfield with his energy. You know, he is going to run until the very final whistle.
Yeah, it's not just energy, it's leadership as well. He's competitive spirit, isn't he? You know, he's got that Latin that he challenges everything. He referees his own players. He's a little bit of a moaner sometimes, but that's all right. You know what you're going to get.
Here's Kunga. His 10th start of the season, 1 goal, 2 assists on the year. Like we mentioned, the Atlanta United homegrown player was born in Angola but raised in Atlanta. Worked his way through the academy. Spent 2017 with the Battery and last season with the Twos.
2 players tonight, I think, who have come in, you know, Nelson and Patterson have done a really good job. We haven't spoke about them too much, but they've been solid, the pair of them. They've come in, good performance, which is really good news for Mike Anhauser, isn't it?
Patterson, another one just returning from international duty. And Kyle Nelson, he's had a bit of a stop-start season, but when his name's been called upon, he's delivered. Higashi takes his space.
A yellow card there from the referee. That's what yellow cards are. That's the traditional professional foul there. The referee had no hesitation and no real choice there. Higashi's beaten his opponent there with pure skill. He's been dragged back.
Dan Metzger in the books. New Jersey native, Red Bull 2 product. Actually won the USL Championship in 2016. Was a big part of that, playing all the playoff games, 3 goals in the playoff runs. Actually earned himself a position with the MLS side in 2017. Before having a spell at Penn FC. Flicked on by Boshua. Nicely done by Mohammed at the back.
Patterson again, as I said, him and Nelson have slotted in there very nicely. They've gone in, and all they've done is have good, solid performances, isn't it? That's what they've done.
Metzger outnumbered. Here's Rittmeyer looking for half a yard.
Again, real positive run. It's amazing you get a little bit of success that it gives you the impetus to go again.
Kelly's there for backup. Just unlucky there, caught offside.
Knows better than that. You know, you're the widest player there, you can't get caught offside.
Bumps a big one forward for Epps. Epps just such quick feet. Najam. Epps chips the dink ball into the box. And Van Schaik has just been winning those aerials all night.
Battery just don't want to give this Memphis team a little sniff of blood, do they? They don't want to give them anything that's going to make it a very awkward last 10, 15 minutes, you know.
Nelson. There were not many options, but he finds one with Rittmeyer. Here's Nico Rittmeyer. Can he cut in? Maybe one-on-one. Rittmeyer takes a tumble in the box. The referee just waving play on there. He maybe got caught in two minds when he saw the run of Zico Lewis coming in. Let's have another look.
No, he does. He definitely gets caught. You can see his eyes just go on to the defender there. And the defender does enough. I think Birch does enough just to put him off. But I think in half of it, he knew he wasn't going to get it. And then he's thinking maybe you know, there's going to be a penalty here. I think if he'd have took it a little bit wider, it might give him a better opportunity just to slide that ball across.
Sminsky opts to play it out the back.
That's good play by the Battery, plan out.
Really playing with some confidence now. Here's Higashi.
That second goal's definitely settled them down, and you know, they can see it is Lewis here now. You want to see him further forward. I do believe though they could, you know, they could get that third goal. That would really sort of kill this game and really settle them down.
Good switch from Lewis.
Since they've made the change, the shape looks so much better defensively, don't they? You know, it's enabled them to pass the ball around. You know, you can see Memphis are really, you know, now struggling to get hold of the ball for any sort of period of time.
Here is Angelo Kelly.
Not in a hurry now, they can just move the ball around, make this team work. When you've got the ball, you can rest. The other team's got to work so much harder. And they just got to be really patient.
Back to Candela. Patience once again. Overlapping run. Nothing to come of it. It looks like Tim Mulqueen is getting ready to make his second substitution of the evening.
He wants to keep his, Mulqueen wants to keep his season alive. He's got to make some changes, isn't he, now? You know, as I'm sure deep down in the back of their mind, they probably would have thought that, you know, the playoff spot was probably a little bit too far from them, but now it really is. And let's see what these players have got.
Uccello getting ready to enter the match. 6th appearance of the season. Spent the last 4 with TFC2. One of the first signings of their inaugural season. Over 70 games played for them, 10 goals. Really looking to be a bit of a difference maker to close out this game. Time for a double substitution from the visitors. Mueller. Good switch, Van Schaik with space.
This is good play by the Battery now, isn't it? You know, they're moving the ball around very nicely now. They look very confident. That second goal's definitely give them a little boost of confidence. They're not in too much of a rush right now. They're just passing the ball around. I'm sure that's why Mulqueen's making a couple of, you know, he want his team to go after him a little bit more. It's a little bit too easy for the Battery right now.
You were really the orchestrator out of the back. Graf also with his jersey on below, ready to enter the match. The Texas native to make his 16th appearance of the season. Another USL veteran with a wealth of experience in the league. Teams like Tampa Bay Rowdies and Reno 1968. Mueller opts to go long this time. Boschua with the flick. Here's Nico Rittmeyer. Nico Rittmeyer once again on the run. He takes the early strike. And side netting it is. Hands on head for Nico Rittmeyer. Brilliant build-up of play though.
Yeah, it was great passage of play by the Battery, and then they decided to go long, very patient in their build-up. They do go long. Bosch with a great flick on. And here now, Nico Rittmeyer needs to go across the goalkeeper there, and I think he fooled the goalkeeper really there just by going near post. I think he sliced it But that was a really, really good chance.
Now a bit of change in the attack. The duo substitutes come in to join Elliot Collier as the trio up top. Largus Kunga and Marcus Epps making their way off. Marcus Epps has had a good night tonight, Derek.
Yeah, and Kunga, I mean, they were the threat in the first half, and you know, it surprises me that that's been the case, because I think that has been their biggest threat, but obviously it's not worked. And as I said, you know, now we'll see what the two substitutes can do. They'll definitely give some energy, I'm sure.
Their leading goal scorer unavailable for selection tonight, Brandon Allen, who's been a bit of a journeyman in the USL Championship. 10 goals on the season so far, unavailable due to suspension.
And those two sending offs in the last game could come back to haunt them, couldn't they? You know, they had that real glimmer of hope to try and get into the playoffs, and it's, you know, when them two send off go, almost that was the moment.
Tough loss then at AutoZone Park against Charlotte Independence. Tim Mulqueen desperate to get them back underway down below. Metzger.
I think now the most important thing for the Battery now is a clean sheet. I think a clean sheet taking, and they've got their goals. If they can go into the weekend with a clean sheet, that will really stand them in good stead for the game that's coming up against Bethlehem. Still, you know, when you're not conceding goals, you know, this team always has goals in them. People like Zico Lewis, Higashi, and Boschua, Daly. You know, there's goals in this team, but if you can actually also show that you're not conceding goals, that's a big, big mental sign for any team. You know, especially going into really Saturday will be a playoff game, won't it?
Absolutely right. We mentioned Bethlehem still struggling as of late. You know, the talent that they have, being that MLS affiliate, all playing for contracts next year, so still a lot on the line for them individually. And of course, for every team, they want to end their season on a high. But if Mike Anhauser's side can pick up this momentum and creep into the playoffs, he said last week, it doesn't matter which door you go through, the front door, the back door, even the ceiling, once you're in, it's a fresh slate in anyone's game. And how many times have we seen upsets in the first round of the playoffs?
No, I mean, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? I mean, as I said, I'm a traditionalist. I like the league play and stuff like that, but you know, the excitement that playoffs bring is immense. And you know, as you said, once you're in it, you know, you don't win the lottery unless you buy the ticket.
The top 10 make the playoffs, but if you're in the top 6, you get to avoid that midweek match on the 23rd. And still really nothing set in stone at the top of the Eastern Conference. It's all coming down to the last game of the season. And many of the teams, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds just catapulted to the top out of nowhere.
No, as I said, I think it shows you the strength of the league and the conference. I mean, as I said, you know, that it's been very tight all year. I think on the other side of the conference, Phoenix has almost run away with it, but on the eastern side, it's definitely been, you know, a number of teams are still in the hunt for the title. And
here's a substitute, Graf. Mueller trying to get it out. It'll need a bit of help on its way.
As I said, now it's all about a clean sheet for the Battery. That's what I'd be telling my players. Let's keep this clean sheet. Don't concede. It's a better sign.
Kelly.
2-0 looks better than 3-1.
Nelson now joining in the attack there. And he's just pushed around. Surprised that one wasn't called, Derek.
I don't know if he's just got feet got tangled or whatever, but yeah, normally you'd say it's a bit of a rash challenge from Muhammad.
Graf just back and forth there, another physical matchup. And this is where you've got to be so careful that tensions just don't bubble over. We saw it last week with Memphis and Charlotte. Just composure really has got to be key for the last 10 minutes.
The Battery just need to play this game out. That's all they need to do. Nothing silly, no silly cards. Just, I mean, if they can keep possession, the longer they can keep possession of the ball, the better it's going to be. Make them work. They need to be more patient than that. I don't think they need to go. They've got, say, 10 more minutes. surprise me if we see another couple of substitutions from Mike Anhauser. Maybe a couple more defensive-like base now, just settle for what you got.
Handshake from me really has just shown his experience at the back, been phenomenal. Here's Rittmeyer in the box, lays one off for Boschua. Can Boschua find a bit of space? Offside is the call. Another good build-up though.
Again, they don't want to get guilty of overplaying, but again, you know, well worked, some, you know, a good number of passes put together before they make it into the opponent's final third.
Man in the mass, Taylor Mueller.
Forget was in the first half, he got it going, didn't he? That superb header.
A big player at the biggest of times, and Elliot Collier has those frustrations just starting to boil over, like we mentioned, Derek, and he is shown yellow.
I'm sure coaches, that infuriates them, don't they? You know, you shout and ball in. I mean, at this stage of the game, if we actually get to see it again, look, it clearly hits him. He goes out, it clearly hits him. And
just having a word with head coach Tim Mulqueen, the inaugural head coach of this Memphis 901 side. Most recently was the assistant coach for Orlando City. Also spent time with the Kansas City Wizards, now supporting KC, of course. So someone who played a big role in Tim Howard's career. Tim Howard credits Mulqueen with really getting his career started at age 12, and now it's really all come full circle. Tim Howard, of course, being a part owner of Memphis. Just finishing up his career with the Colorado Rapids in MLS.
It's good play by Zico Lewis again, showing his experience there, doesn't he? Just keeping hold of the ball, playing in good areas of the field. You have to say that the battery now, they're starting to look very composed. They're managing the ball very well, you know, and they're making it harder and harder now for this Memphis team. I'm sure that'll be a good sign from Mike Anhauser to see that happening. They don't need another goal now, and it's not something the crowd want to see. You don't need to score another goal. You just need to keep the ball, play this game out, and then move on to the next one. Memphis, you can see their season just slowly drifting out of them, and you know, see that the frustration there with Collier happened in the previous game as well, so they've got to keep their discipline.
Memphis will conclude their season on home soil against the reigning champions Louisville City FC on Saturday. The Battery, of course, on home soil as well against Bethlehem Steel. It will all probably come down to the wire, as we're predicting, keeping our eye on the Birmingham Legion New York Red Bull 2 game that's happening right now. 1-0 still is the score over there. And of course, if Red Bulls win, that will really help out the Charleston Battery. Interesting to see, as always, at this point in the season, how other teams help other teams statistically with numbers. The Battery, for once, willing the Red Bulls to win, to take points from Birmingham Legion.
That will only take effect as soon as this final whistle goes. As I said, I think that, you know, we've said it many times, any team in this league can beat any other team. You know, on your day, you can win any game.
Kelly with the theatrics.
It's good play again by Nico Rittmeyer, just, you know, drawing the free kick, drawing the foul. Just a switch of play here from Taylor Mueller.
Last 6 minutes from Charleston, South Carolina, here at MUSC Health Stadium. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Gorley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. For Boschua. Patterson. Straight into the mix. Candela.
Candella's done a good job as well, and he's gone in and he's solidified that midfield. You know, they've gone to a flat four. It's definitely helped them out. And as I said, you know, sometimes coaches don't get enough credit for the substitutes they made. You know, that diamond was very creative. It got them the lead that they wanted, and then the flat four now has, you know, solidified the performance. and probably is going to hopefully get them through to a clean sheet and a very solid win. 2-0 at this level, especially at this stage of the season, is a great result.
So Mike Anhauser's going to the bench one more time. Kieran Mason down below. To make his way into the match.
Hunter's going to get a yellow card there as well. It's another good foul at this stage of the game for the Battery. Keeps them penned in, keeps them in a good territorial position. It's coming out.
Kieran Mason, the Trinidad and Tobago, comes in for only his 3rd appearance of the season, just to shore up the defence. And Zico Lewis comes out. A big applause from the crowd down below us. A fantastic, stellar performance from Zico Lewis.
He's been outstanding, hasn't he? You know, he's had an assist, he's had a goal. You know, he's been the brightest player. You know, he's shown some great inventive play. He's been fantastic for this Battery team tonight.
Tough week for both these teams. 3 matches in 1 week. Everyone just taking an opportunity to get some hydration on board. Very warm night here in the Low Country.
It doesn't seem such a bad week when you get a result, especially when you get a 2-0 result. As I said, the clean sheet now is paramount for this Battery team.
Mandela can't beat the first man. Fancy footwork from Rittmeyer. Into the box it goes, towards the back post. Mason was there. Brought down in the box.
Thought he was a bit manhandled, but he's a big lad, he'll get over it.
Graf on the run.
I think since the Epps and Kunga have gone off, the real pacey threat has gone, hasn't it? And I think, you know, that's where they were. It's certainly in the first half for that 15-20 minutes when they broke. But now it really is a case of, you know, keeping the game in front. I think Graf's got the pace of Epps or Kunga, and it's a little bit easier to defend.
Classic example of this big matchup. It's been going on all night. Boshua and Liam Doyle.
I think that's a little bit of tit for tat there, and you know, he just took one in the box, then he, you know, Arthur Boshua, didn't he?
Final warning for Arthur Boshua there.
Good competition for them too. It's been a good battle.
Linley delivers in.
Doyle's no angel, is he? No, he's had his fair share of confrontation, physical.
Big presence at the back, Liam Doyle. Here comes Higashi. Mason with those fresh legs on the run.
Just didn't read it there, did he? He went to go and then he stopped. A little bit of miscommunication, and Mason's obviously, you know, he's not had as many minutes as he would have liked, and he'll just have to play himself into a game.
Mason in his first season, just like you said, has had a very stop-start season with injury. Had a good start to the year. A good Open Cup run, just really struggled to get it going in this second half after returning, and it looks like Mike Anhauser is going to make his final substitution of the night. Ian Swanterson putting on his jersey down below. Elliot Collier, meanwhile, is offside.
Could be Boshua to come out, probably. Just a straight swap, yeah. You know, just he's worked his socks off as well. Boshua again, he's had 2 great performances in my eyes, and you know, he certainly deserves the applaud that the crowd has given him, and Mike Anhauser will be the first one to greet him as he comes off. Ian Swanson now, he'll want to come in and try and, you know, really push for a place. He's only got a couple of minutes, but he'll want to come in and put his stamp on the game and try and get himself a starting spot for the next couple of weeks.
2 massive performances from Boshua, both against Loudon and here tonight. Ian Swanterson, the 6'6" striker, makes his way in. 4 goals on the season so far. For Higashi, still time on the clock. Swanterson straight into the mix.
They just need to pass themselves out of trouble here. The Battery, don't they? Just pass themselves in and out. Don't need to do anything. That's it. I'm frightened if this ends up going back to Kuzminski. Doesn't have to go all the way back, just good. And Candella's done a great job of coming into that midfield and just keeping possession of the ball. He's orchestrated everything from midfield now. Just keeps on wanting to get on the ball, and when they get under pressure, boom, big long ball by Taylor Mueller.
Another good matchup. Swanson and Doyle there. Swanson with the pressure once again.
Doyle thinks his night's over, and then Swanson comes on.
3 minutes added on of extra time here at MUSC Health Stadium.
I'm not so sure Angela Kelly done too much wrong there, did he? I think he was. Surely the referee's not going to give him a card. He is. That's a poor one. That's the ball's been kicked away too many times tonight. I think that's a sympathy vote there from the referee. He's had a great game, the referee, up until then. I thought we haven't really talked about him too much, but that was a little bit of a loose one. Looks like the Battery have just about done enough. They've just got to get over the line now with this clean sheet. They don't want anything silly.
2 minutes left to play. Here's Lindley.
Next break, I'll give you my man of the match.
It is that time. Derek the Heineken, man of the match, awaits. This attack will get to it. Najem just wide of the target. Still knocking at the door, Memphis. Time isn't on their side now, though.
They've now eliminated it now. It's a 3-horse race, isn't it, now, for that playoff spot. Tonight, man of the match, I think I've got to give it to Zico Lewis. I think the goal that, showed everything about his determination. He got a good assist. I think he's been creative all night. I think he's run Taylor Mueller very close and Jared Van Schaik, but I think tonight's Heineken man of the match is Zico Lewis. And as I said, hopefully, that's a good sign for him to take his good form into the last game of the season and hopefully the playoff.
Zico Lewis been on phenomenal form for both club and country this season. The Heineken man of the match for tonight's game, Zico Lewis.
I think two notable performances for tonight, though, has definitely been Nelson and Patterson. They both come into this game, they haven't had as many games they probably would have liked, but they've come in today and they've both had very, very solid performances tonight. And I'm really pleased for the two lads that they've done that.
Of course, it was captain Taylor Mueller to get the goal scoring going. Fantastic header off a corner in the box. Mohammed swings one to the back. Candela. Just overcooked for Rittmeyer. 30 seconds left to play here in Charleston.
That really sets up that game Saturday, doesn't it? I'm sure there'll be a big crowd here Saturday, all to play for. Again, regardless of the Birmingham result, it's going to be all to play for this Battery team, and a win should hopefully get them across the line and into that playoff spot. And then, as I said, it's Mike Anhauser. It doesn't matter how you get in. Let's see what happens and bring it on.
We mentioned the Battery, the only team to have made it to the postseason every year that they've been a franchise. And it's looking very good for them once again. Kosminski in no rush to get us back underway. The fans are about up off their seat, and that is going to be all we see from MUSC Health Stadium. The Battery keep their playoff hopes alive while ending Memphis 901 season. Derek Broadley, your thoughts on the final performance?
Now that you've seen the whole performance, I said there was large parts of that game where the Battery looked totally in control. There was a few times where, they looked vulnerable on the break, but they sorted it out the second half. Other than a 5-minute little spell in the second half, I thought they were excellent. Some really solid performances from back to front, from Joe Kosminski all the way through to Arthur Boschua. And I think it was a thoroughly deserved nil, and I think the 2-0 score is really what they're going to hold on to from this game. They're always going to score goals, but a clean sheet is vital at this stage, and very, very pleased. I'm sure Mike Anhauser is very, very pleased with his solid performance.
Joe Kosminski with his 8th clean sheet of the season. A lot of chances, a lot to unpack. Let's start from the very beginning and take a look at tonight's highlights. Of course, it was captain Taylor Mueller to get it all going at an absolute crucial time. It's been on fire all season long, and he comes up big tonight.
No, as I said, it was the breakaway chance, and this was their only threat, Memphis, with Kunga and Epps. That was their threat. But, large part of the game, this was the man of the match here. There's a great little bit of inventive skill there to try and get Boschua in. Again, when it comes to the corner, it's great delivery, great header. And again, all he's doing there, Taylor Mueller, is directing the pace off the header. The Q Daly's had another good performance. He showed what he's all about, his unpredictability and his strength and skill. Bosch was very unlucky not to score a goal, and he, you know, that on another day just hits the post and goes in. So you could see that was the sort of tempo of the game. Second half, when we get there, it was very similar at the start then, but then the battery came into it. And I think this is the crucial goal. This sums up Zico Lewis's performance, where he just battles himself through. He's not the biggest of players, but that's all about determination, which seals the win for his team.
Mike Anhauser down below, getting the crowd going. They continue on. Keep those playoff hopes alive. The season concludes this Saturday against Bethlehem Steel. But that just about wraps things up from us here in Charleston, South Carolina. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Derek Broadley, the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you Saturday.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.